Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ashok IT. Today we are here to discuss the information related to DevOps with AWS online training. All right, let's get started. Before going to start, let me introduce about myself. My name is Ashok. I will be the trainer for this course. I'm having total 10 years of experience in IT industry. Currently, I am working as a technical lead in one of the product-based company in Hyderabad location. So this is very quick introduction about myself. Coming to the course, here we are going to discuss DevOps with AWS. To attend this DevOps with AWS, what are the prerequisites? To attend this DevOps with AWS training program, there are no specific prerequisites. You need to have interest, you should have time, and you should have the interest to become DevOps with the cloud operations engineer. Then you can learn this DevOps and AWS. You can become DevOps engineer with AWS cloud knowledge. Here, anybody who is really interested can join for this DevOps with AWS master program. And to attend this program, programming knowledge is not mandatory. If you don't have any IT experience, if you don't have any coding experience, no problem. Still, you can attend this course. Non-IT people also can attend DevOps with AWS training program. Good. Coming to the qualification, if you have any degree, that is sufficient to learn this DevOps with AWS. No specific prerequisites available. The only thing, you need to have interest and you need to have time to learn this DevOps with AWS. Coming to the course content. The course is divided into multiple modules. So what are the modules that we are going to discuss? The first one, we are going to learn what is DevOps, why DevOps, what is the DevOps lifecycle, why the more demand is there in the market for DevOps engineers. Those things we are going to learn as part of first module. Coming to the second module, we are going to learn Linux operating system with the shell scripting. As a DevOps engineer, we need to work with Linux machines. You should have hands-on experience in Linux operating system with the shell scripting that we are going to learn in module 2. Then after, we are going to learn DevOps tools. So DevOps is not a separate technology, guys. DevOps is a process. DevOps is a culture. It is used to automate our application build and deployment process by using set of tools. So those tools we are going to learn as part of module 3. Then coming to module 4. Here, as a DevOps engineer, you should know how to work with cloud platforms. There are several cloud platforms available in the market. So you should know at least one cloud platform. As part of this course, we are going to learn AWS cloud. As part of this course, we are going to learn AWS cloud. Then once the cloud concepts are completed, then we need to work on the real-time projects. So how the DevOps engineers will work with the projects in the companies in the same way we are going to set up the real-world projects as part of the training. Whatever the projects we are discussing, those projects you can mention in the resume to attend the interviews, right? In order to attend the interviews, you need some guidance. That guidance we are going to provide as part of module 6, that is our interview guide. Right. In the interview guide, we are going to discuss about resume preparation, how to prepare our resume, how to keep the projects in the resume, and how to upload the resume for job portals to attend the interviews, how we will get the interview calls, and we are going to provide frequently asked interview questions. We have collected those questions from the previous batch students, and we are going to share those questions. And we will be conducting mock interviews also. So before you are going to give the real interview, we will be taking your interview so that you will understand in which area you need to prepare more to attend the real interviews. That support also will be there from our side. So this is the complete roadmap of our DevOps with AWS program. The total course is divided into 6 modules. You can go through the modules which I have mentioned here. For the detailed course content, as I mentioned, you can join in the WhatsApp group, which I have given in the chat box. I have shared the course content document in the given WhatsApp group. Group link I have shared in the chat box. The course content PDF document is available. That PDF document I have shared in the WhatsApp group. You can download the detailed course content document from our website. To download the course content document, the link I have shared in the WhatsApp group. You can join in that group so that you will get all the updates from me. So you can check it. Now also I have shared a message with the link from where you can download our syllabus document. It is in the PDF format. All right, fine guys. Now, yesterday we had just introduction session. We discussed about these things only in the last session. This course code we are giving as 14 DevOps AWS, nothing but this is our 14th batch for DevOps with AWS Cloud. That's why this course code we are giving as 14 DevOps with AWS. No prerequisites. The only thing your time and your interest. Course content as discussed divided into 6 modules. Coming to the course information, the course code is 14 DevOps AWS. It is going to take 4 months of time, guys. The timings 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. IST. Monday to Saturday, the classes will be available. Class mode, online classes will be there. As discussed, daily class notes will be shared. Soft copy materials we have provided. Notes you can download. Notes lifetime access will be there for you. Then daily after the class, recording video will be shared from today. Yesterday it was just introduction and doubts clarification session. So from today, the recording videos also will be shared for you. The course fees is 16,000. Right. You can attend 5 classes for free with the same Zoom link. Later point of time, you can do the enrollment if you are interested to continue. So every day live class will be there from 6 to 7:15. The last 15 minutes doubts clarifications will be available. Once this course is completed, then you can attend the interviews with 3 to 4 years of experience to get the job. All right, let's move on. Fine here. Yesterday, people asked me, sir, what we are going to learn as part of this DevOps. So as part of the DevOps, we are going to learn several DevOps tools. As part of the DevOps course, we are going to learn several DevOps tools. What are the DevOps tools we are going to learn? As part of this DevOps course, we are going to learn Maven and Gradle. This Maven and Gradle are called as build tools. Developers will write the source code. Whatever the code that is given by the developers, we can't execute that code directly. We need to build that code. To build that code, we are going to use Maven tool or Gradle tool. Maven or Gradle, we are going to use as build tools. Then next one, we are going to learn GitHub. GitHub we are going to use as source code repository server. So some companies are going to use GitHub for the code storing and some companies are going to use Bitbucket. I'm going to explain both GitHub and Bitbucket. They are used for storing project to source code. GitHub and Bitbucket are called as source code repository servers. Right. Then after, we are going to learn about Nexus and JFrog. We are going to learn about Nexus and JFrog. What is the purpose of this Nexus and JFrog? Nexus and JFrog we are going to use as artifactory servers. They are used to store project artifacts. Project to source code will be stored in the source code repository server. Project artifact will be stored into artifactory servers. Then after, we are going to learn about SonarQube. SonarQube is used for code review software. Whatever the code done by the developers, we need to review that source code. We need to review that source code and we need to generate code review report. To perform code review as a DevOps engineer, we are going to use SonarQube software. Code review purpose, we will use SonarQube software. We are going to learn that SonarQube. Then we are going to learn about Tomcat. This Tomcat is a web server for deployment. Okay, whatever the web application is available, in order to execute our web application, we need a server. So don't worry, what is web application, what is server, everything we are going to discuss. I'm just giving the trailer what we are going to learn. So if you see, if any movie is going to come, directly they will not release the movie. First, they will release the teaser for that to engage the people. After a few days, they will release the trailer. Then after, they will release the actual movie. Here also same concept. Today, we are just understanding teaser of the movie. So actual movie is not started yet. Just I'm going to tell you what we are going to discuss as part of DevOps. Got it? So as part of the DevOps, we are going to learn several tools, Maven and Gradle. So here, Maven and Gradle are used for build purpose. So Maven, Gradle are used for Java projects and for front-end applications like Angular React applications, we are going to use the NPM, Node Package Manager. So if you want to build a Java project, then Maven we are going to use. If you want to build Angular or React, any JavaScript based applications, we are going to use the NPM as build tool. Then GitHub and Bitbucket. Some projects will use GitHub, some projects will use Bitbucket. We are going to learn both. They are used as source code repository servers. So in the project, multiple developers will be available. The developers will be working from different locations. To store all the developers code at one place, we are going to use source code repository servers. Then next one, Artifactory servers. To store the project jar files or WAR files, we are going to use Nexus and JFrog. They are called as Artifactory servers. And SonarQube. SonarQube is used to perform code review. What is code review? Whatever the mistakes done by the developers in the code, we can identify by using this code review concept. Right. Next one, Tomcat. What is Tomcat? Tomcat is a web server that is used for application deployment. Whatever the web application we have, for every web application, one server is required for the execution. We will use Tomcat as a web server to deploy our web applications. Then after the Tomcat, we are going to learn. After the Tomcat, we are going to learn Docker. What is the Docker? Docker is a containerization software. Okay. Docker is a containerization software. Containerization software. What is the meaning of containerization? In order to execute our application, some softwares are required. For example, one machine is required. In that machine, operating system is required. Java software is required. Database is required. Server is required. So in order to run the application, several softwares are required. Those are called as the dependencies. So to package our application code, application dependencies, we are going to use Docker. Docker is called as a containerization software. And next one, we are going to learn about Kubernetes. We are going to learn about Kubernetes. What is this Kubernetes? Kubernetes is a orchestration software. Orchestration, nothing but management. Whatever the Docker containers we are creating for our application, to manage the Docker containers, we are going to use Kubernetes in the projects. So Docker and Kubernetes tools are damn important for the DevOps engineer. As I discussed yesterday, without having the knowledge on Docker and Kubernetes, it is not possible to get the job as a DevOps engineer. Okay, guys. So without having the knowledge on Dockers and Kubernetes, you can't get the job as a DevOps engineer. Is my voice clear for everyone? Could you please confirm, guys? Is my voice clear for everyone? Yeah, perfect. So Docker is a containerization software. It is used to package our code plus dependencies. So what are the softwares that are required to execute our application? What are the softwares are required to execute our application? We are going to manage them by using Docker. So what is Kubernetes? Kubernetes is called as orchestration platform. Kubernetes is called as orchestration platform. It is used to manage containers. Whatever the containers we are creating for our application, to manage the containers, we are going to use Kubernetes. Kubernetes is called as orchestration software. Then after, we are going to use we are going to use Jenkins. Jenkins. What is Jenkins? It is CI/CD software, continuous integration and continuous deployment we can perform by using Jenkins. Jenkins is a CI/CD software. It is used to automate project build and deployment. Whatever the process we are going to do manually, that process can be automated by using Jenkins. To automate project build and deployment process, we are going to use a CI/CD software, that is Jenkins, right? Jenkins is called as CI/CD software. It is used to automate project build and deployment process. To manage the containers, we are going to use Kubernetes. Kubernetes is called as orchestration platform. Docker. Docker is a containerization software which is used to manage or which is used to package code plus dependencies. Package our application code and application dependencies for easy deployment process. What is the Tomcat? Tomcat is a server for the deployment. Some projects will use a Tomcat, some projects will use JBoss. So Tomcat is a web server, JBoss is application server. They are used to run our web applications. Then SonarQube. What is the purpose of SonarQube? SonarQube is called as code review software. It is used to identify the mistakes done by the developers in the code. Okay, Nexus and JFrog, they are called as Artifactory servers. So to store jar or war files. Whenever we package our application, jar file or war file will be created. To store the jar files or war files, we are going to use either Nexus or JFrog. We will learn both. Okay, the next one, GitHub and Bitbucket. What is this GitHub and Bitbucket? GitHub and Bitbucket are called as source code repository servers to integrate project to source code. In the project, multiple developers will be available. The developers will be working from different locations. To integrate all the developers to source code at one place, we are going to use GitHub. In some projects, GitHub will be available. In some projects, Bitbucket will be available. What about this Maven, Gradle, and NPM? These are called as build tools. They are used to compile our project. They are used to build our project. Along with these softwares, along with these tools, we need to learn about some monitoring tools. We need to learn about some monitoring tools. So there are several monitoring tools are available like Grafana, Prometheus, Negios. So they are called as monitoring tools. They are used to monitor how our application is working. Okay, how our infrastructure is running. Those things we are going to monitor by using Grafana, Prometheus, and Negios. These are called as monitoring tools. Along with these things, we are going to learn about ELK stack, that is EFK stack. EFK stack to monitor application logs. To monitor application logs. When the application is executing, log files will be generated. When the application is executing, log files will be generated. So developers will use the log messages to understand the problems in the application. Sometimes when we are using project, we will get some errors or we will get some exceptions. To identify root cause of the problem, developers will check the log files. So to monitor the logs of the application, we are going to use this EFK stack. EFK nothing but Elasticsearch, FileBeat, and Kibana. It is the combination of three products, guys. Elasticsearch plus FluentD plus Kibana. So these three products are used to monitor logs of the application. In some projects, they will use ELK or EFK, and some projects will use Splunk. Splunk is a commercial software. This EFK stack is open source. Elasticsearch, FluentD, and Kibana, they are used to monitor logs of the application. Then after, we are going to learn about Jira. So Jira is called as project management software. So daily task will be assigned to you in the Jira. So they are called as Jira stories. So today what work you need to do, that will be decided in the Jira. Jira is called as project management software. So daily basis, tasks will be assigned to the team members, either by team lead or either by scrum master. Sometimes we should assign the task to ourselves in the projects. So for the project management, what work is completed in the project, what work is pending, what work is in progress, everything will be managed by using project management software. For that, we are going to use Jira in the companies. Jira is a very famous software in the companies. Are you guys clear with my point? Along with these things, we are going to learn about Terraform. We are going to learn about Terraform to automate infrastructure creation. In the cloud platform, whatever the infrastructure that is required to create that infrastructure, we are going to use Terraform. So earlier, people used to create infrastructure in the cloud manually, but nowadays people are using Terraform to automate infrastructure creation in the cloud. By using Terraform, you can create the infrastructure in the AWS cloud or in the Azure cloud or in the GCP cloud also. So Terraform is a software that is used to automate infrastructure creation. Terraform software is used to automate infrastructure creation. We are going to learn the Terraform as part of our syllabus. Okay. Then after, we are going to learn about Ansible to manage configurations. It is configuration management. So in the machines, whatever the softwares that we have to install in our project, there are 100 machines available. In 100 machines, I want to install Python. Installing the Python in the 100 machines manually is difficult. So we need to automate configurations required for the project. That's where Ansible comes into picture. Ansible is used for configuration management. Terraform is used to automate infrastructure creation. Jira is used for project management. EFK stack is used to monitor logs of the application. Grafana, Prometheus, Negios are used to monitor the infrastructure and monitor the application. Jenkins is used for CI/CD to automate build and deployment process. Kubernetes is used to manage the containers. Kubernetes is called as orchestration platform. Docker, it is used to create the containers. It is called as containerization software. So around 18 tools that we are going to learn: Maven, Gradle 2, GitHub and Bitbucket 4, Nexus and JFrog 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Approximately 20 DevOps tools that we are going to learn as part of the training. Here in the project, if Nexus is there, JFrog will not be available. If GitHub is available, Bitbucket will not be available. But we are going to learn all these tools. Around 19 tools we are going to learn as part of our training. These all are called as DevOps tools. If you want to become a DevOps engineer, then you should know all these tools, guys. So as part of our training, as part of the DevOps tools, we are going to learn all these 19 tools. Are you clear? Just read the names of the tools and purpose of the tools. All of you read the tools, names of the tools and purpose of the tools. Guys, some of these tools are not mentioned in our syllabus document. I will update that syllabus document. So I'm going to cover whatever I have mentioned here. All those tools I'm going to cover. Whatever the tools I have mentioned, all those tools I'm going to cover. Some of these tools not mentioned in the syllabus document, but I'm going to cover in the course. I need to update my syllabus document. I will update it by this weekend. Whatever I have mentioned in this document in the running notes now. Everything will be covered in the course. Everything will be covered practically. How we are going to work with these tools in the company as a experienced DevOps engineer. At that level, we are going to learn. We are going to understand theoretically what is this tool, how to set up this tool, how to work with this tool, what are the challenges we are going to face. All those things we are going to learn. Chef and Puppet, Snigdha. Chef and Puppet tools are outdated. So the alternate for the Chef and Puppet is Ansible. Nowadays, the demand for Chef and Puppet is not good when we compare with the Ansible. The purpose of Chef and Puppet is also for configuration management. So the advanced software is Ansible for the configuration management. We are going to learn the Ansible instead of Chef and Puppet. And by using all these tools, we are going to set up the projects. Couple of projects, not one project, guys. Couple of projects we are going to do. And those projects you can mention in the resume. All good? Someone is asking, is it a demo? Ratna, it is not a demo. I'm explaining the course content. It's not a demo. Yesterday demo completed. Today I'm giving the information what we are going to learn. Okay. Putty also we can use to check the logs of the application, but Putty is command line based, GUI based logs. If you want to monitor, then we are going to use EFK stack. Definitely we are going to use Putty. And all the tools we are going to practice in the Linux operating system. Okay. So our course will start with Linux only. Okay. Coming to operating systems. Okay. As I mentioned, for the DevOps engineer, Linux is mandatory. So first we are going to learn Linux OS. We are going to learn shell scripting. Then only we are going to start with the DevOps. All the DevOps tools we are going to learn in the Linux OS. So you should be expert in the Linux to learn all these tools as a DevOps engineer. To become a DevOps engineer, you need to learn these tools, and all the tools you need to practice in the Linux operating system. Because in the company, as a DevOps engineer, we are going to use the Linux machines. Okay, guys. ELK stack, I have already mentioned to monitor the logs of the application. Someone is asking, are you going to cover ELK? Yes, I have already mentioned that. Instead of ELK, I mentioned it as EFK. Instead of Logstash, you can use Fluentd. If I keep Logstash here, then it is called as ELK. If I keep Fluentd, it is called as EFK stack. Both are same. They are used to monitor logs of the application. Are you guys clear? So first we are going to learn the Linux operating system with the shell scripting. Then after we are going to learn DevOps tools. Okay. After that, we are going to learn AWS cloud. Okay. Coming to AWS cloud, what we are going to learn in the AWS cloud. So we are going to understand what is cloud computing, what is cloud computing, cloud advantages, AWS introduction, what is cloud computing, cloud advantages, AWS introduction, AWS account creation, how to create free tier account in the AWS for our course. You don't need to pay any bill, guys. I will tell you how to create the free account in the AWS. AWS account creation, we are going to learn. Then we are going to learn EC2 service. EC2 service is used to create virtual machines in the AWS. Now, as I told you, we are going to practice Linux. You no need to install the Linux operating system in the computer. You already have a laptop or desktop with the Windows operating system. Na? You no need to install the Linux, because Linux we are going to practice in the cloud machine. So by using AWS cloud, we can create one virtual machine. To create virtual machines in the AWS cloud, we are going to use EC2 service. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. By using that EC2, we can create virtual machines in the AWS cloud. So along with this, we are going to learn about RDS to create relational databases in the cloud. To create relational databases in the AWS cloud, we are going to use RDS service. I want to create a MySQL database. I want to create a Oracle database for our project. To create the database for the project, we are going to use RDS. RDS stands for Relational Database Service. And we are going to learn about S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service for unlimited storage in the cloud. Storage service. Storage service. You can store unlimited data in the project. Okay. So to store unlimited data in the AWS cloud, there is a service called S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage. EC2 is used to create virtual machines in the AWS cloud. RDS is used to create relational databases in the cloud. S3 is used for storage purpose. So to store the unlimited data in the AWS cloud, we are going to use S3. Then we are going to learn about Route 53. Route 53 service is used for DNS mapping, domain mapping service. Okay. In order to map our project to the domain, then we are going to use DNS. DNS, domain mapping. Domain mapping we are going to understand by using Route 53. Domain mapping we are going to use Route 53. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Route 53 is used for a domain mapping, DNS mapping. Okay, good. Right. Next one, we are going to learn about VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Virtual Private Cloud networking. So whatever the resources that we are creating in the AWS cloud, for our cloud resources, isolated network is required. The network will be provided by VPC in the AWS. VPC is one service in the AWS which will provide isolated network for our resources in the cloud. Then after, we are going to learn about IAM, Identity and Access Management. Okay, Identity and Access Management. So here, when you join in the company as a DevOps engineer, they will provide IAM account to operate the cloud. You will not have the access for everything in the cloud. So they will restrict your account. They will provide the permissions for the account to use cloud resources. So those user account creations, user permission, user roles, we can manage by using IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management in the AWS cloud. Okay. So along with this, we are going to learn about Elastic Beanstalk. We are going to learn about Elastic Beanstalk. So Elastic Beanstalk is called as a PaaS platform. It will provide platform to run web applications. Web applications we can manage. To manage web application, it is going to provide the platform. Without installing any software, if you want to run your web applications in the cloud, then you can go for Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk. Then next one, we are going to learn about ECS to run Docker containers. To run Docker containers. And we are going to learn EKS to run Kubernetes cluster. To run the Docker containers in the cloud, we can go for ECS. To run the Kubernetes cluster in the cloud, we can go for EKS. We are going to learn those things. And we are going to learn about CloudWatch to monitor cloud resources. To monitor cloud resources. And we are going to learn about SNS. It is used for notifications. CloudWatch. CloudWatch is used for monitoring the cloud resources. SNS we are going to use for notifications purpose. And we are going to learn about Lambdas, AWS Lambdas. AWS Lambdas are very, very important. The Lambdas are used for serverless computing. So without thinking about the servers, we can run our web applications in the cloud. So that's where AWS Lambdas comes into picture. AWS Lambdas comes into picture for serverless computing. Okay. Along with these things, we are going to learn about CloudFront. CloudFront. This is used to manage edge locations in the cloud to speed up your application execution process, network speed. To reduce the network latency time, we are going to use CloudFront service in the AWS to configure edge locations. Right. Our server is executing in the US, but customers are accessing from the India. So it will be slow because server is there in the US, customer is in the India. So to reduce that latency, to speed up the application access, we are going to configure edge locations in the cloud by using CloudFront. So these are the services that we are going to learn from AWS. Okay. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. It will provide isolated network for the resources, internet, I can say. So VPC will provide the network for the resources that we are going to create in the AWS cloud. VPC will provide the network for the resources that are available in the AWS cloud. Are you guys clear with my point? So as a DevOps engineer, we should have knowledge on these services in the AWS cloud. In the AWS cloud, 200 plus services available like this, but we don't need to learn all those things. Those all are not required for the DevOps engineer. For the DevOps engineer, how much cloud knowledge is required, that we are going to learn. Got my point? Auto scaling, load balancing, everything comes under EC2. When we go for EC2, in the EC2, EBS will come into picture, auto scaling comes into picture, load balancer will come into picture. Those things are part of EC2. So that's why I did not mention them separately. Okay. So from the AWS cloud, we are going to learn these concepts. What is cloud computing? What are the advantages with the cloud? What is AWS? Why we need to go for AWS? How to create account in the AWS, right? So once account is created in the AWS, then we are going to create virtual machines in the AWS by using EC2. EC2 is a service in the AWS which is used to create virtual machines. RDS is a service which is used to create a database in the cloud. S3 is a storage service for storing unlimited data. Route 53 is a domain mapping service to map our applications to the domain name like gmail.com, facebook.com, naukri.com. These are the domain names. To map our applications to the domain names, we are going to use Route 53. VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Okay, that is used for having the network for the resources in the cloud. IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So that is used to create users in the AWS account and manage permissions for the users in the AWS account. Elastic Beanstalk, which is used to run our applications in the cloud without bothering about the infrastructure. ECS to run the Docker containers. EKS to run the Kubernetes cluster in the AWS cloud. CloudWatch to monitor the cloud resources. SNS to send the notifications to the customers of our application. Lambdas to execute our application without bothering about any servers. To achieve serverless computing, AWS Lambdas we are going to use. CloudFront, it is used to configure edge locations in the cloud. To simplify our application access process to reduce latency. EBS also comes under EC2. When I say EC2, in the EC2, EBS will come, load balancer will come, auto scaling also will come. EBS nothing but Elastic Block Store, LBR nothing but load balancer, ASG nothing but auto scaling group. These 3 topics comes under EC2. Got it? So these are the services that we are going to learn from AWS cloud. Okay. All good, guys? Yeah. So this is our syllabus. Linux with the shell scripting, almost 20 DevOps tools we are going to learn, and almost 10 plus 15 services we are going to learn from the AWS. EC2, RDS, S3, Route 53, VPC, IAM, Beanstalk, ECS, EKS, CloudFront, SNS, Lambdas, CloudWatch. Around 20 DevOps tools, 15 AWS services we are going to learn. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. This is our syllabus. The duration I already mentioned, it will take 4 months of time to cover all these things. Linux, DevOps plus AWS. So this is our 14 DevOps with AWS. So this is a master program on the DevOps, guys. We are going to learn Linux operating system with the shell scripting. So almost 20 DevOps tools we are going to learn. So someone is asking why to learn all these DevOps tools. So if you want to get the job, then you need to learn all these tools. Okay. If you want to get the job, you need to learn all these tools. Tomorrow, when you join in the company, whether they will use Nexus or JFrog, we don't know. In which company you are going to get the job, that is not in your hand now. Some companies will use Nexus, some companies will use JFrog. So tomorrow, when you go for TCS, they may ask you questions on the JFrog. If you go for Infosys, they may ask you questions on the Nexus. So that's why we are going to learn all these tools. Got it? For every tool, for every service in the AWS, complete materials will be provided. Okay. For every tool, for every service that we are going to discuss, the material will be provided. As I told you, the soft copy materials are already prepared. So when I'm going to start the particular tool, then I'm going to share that material. Okay. Now, what you people need to do is, you people need to create the account in the AWS cloud. Okay. So you should know how to create the account in the AWS. Account creation in the AWS is free. Account creation in the AWS is free. So you need to go to AWS website and you need to create the account in the AWS. So to create the account in the AWS, recently I have uploaded one video in the YouTube. So within 2 minutes, you can create the account in the AWS. AWS account creation. Yeah. I prepared one video, AWS account setup in 2 minutes. Okay. So by watching this video, I want you people to complete your account creation in the AWS. because we need to use that cloud platform to create our virtual machines and all that stuff. AWS account is required. That AWS account is free of cost. Okay, but that AWS account, if you want to create, it will ask your credit card or debit card details. The card information they are going to take to deduct 2 rupees from your card. The 2 rupees are only for your card verification. They will send the 2 rupees back to your account immediately once your card is verified. Once your card is verified, they will send the 2 rupees back to your account. So by watching that video, I want you people to complete AWS account setup. How you created account in the Facebook, how you created account in the Instagram. Similarly, you need to create the account in the AWS cloud to use cloud resources. Okay, guys. I have given the video link. So that video is just a 2 minutes video. If you watch 2 minutes, if you spend 2 minutes to watch that video, then you will understand how to create the account in the AWS. I'm sharing that video in our WhatsApp group also. After the class is completed, I want you people to create your account in the AWS cloud. The AWS cloud account is free account. Nothing will be charged from your card. Okay, it is a free tier account. So to attend these classes, you need to have the account in the AWS cloud. That is free of cost. They will ask your card information, but the card information only for card verification purpose. 2 rupees will be deducted. Those 2 rupees will come back to your account after your card is verified. You are safe. You no need to worry about that. Understood? If you already have the account in the AWS cloud, then no need to create once again. One account is sufficient. If you already have the account, you can use it. The people who don't have the account in the AWS cloud platform, those people should create the new account. Got my point? Are you clear with my point? Very good. So I hope you are clear with course information. What are the prerequisites? What is the course content? The course duration, course timings, course fees, okay, and syllabus, what we are going to learn, what tools we are going to learn from the DevOps, what services we are going to learn from the AWS cloud. I hope you are comfortable with that. Okay, and coming to here, after this course completed, we are going to work on the projects. Those projects you can keep in the resume also to attend the interviews. And sir, after completion of this course, can we get the job as a fresher in the DevOps? For the freshers, getting the DevOps calls is very, very difficult. If you want to learn the DevOps, if you want to get the job as a fresher, it is very, very difficult. If you have some references in the companies, then you may get the job as a fresher in the DevOps field. But getting the direct calls from the companies for the DevOps freshers is very difficult. Mainly, companies will look for the people who are having 3 to 4 years experience in the DevOps. This course is not recommended for the freshers. This course is for the people who are experienced. And if you are having some career gap, then you can do this course. Whatever the gap that you have, you can show that gap as an experience. Okay, so minimum you need to upload the resume with 3+ years of experience. For 1 year, for 1.5 years, for 2 years, that is also difficult. Minimum 3 years of experience companies will expect. Minimum 3 years experience companies will expect from the candidate to take the DevOps interviews. Clear? Perfect. Now guys, let's start with the content. Now we understood all the information related to course. Now let's start about software project. Now, if you are going to learn any course, first you need to understand what is software project and what is architecture of the software project, and what you need to do as a DevOps engineer in the project. Can you guys tell me what is software project? Can you guys tell me what is a software project? Come on, guys. Can you tell me what is software project? Any idea? Rasika code. Rasika code. If you are fresher in the DevOps, that is fine. If you complete your BTech in the 2023, then doing the DevOps course is not recommended. In this field, you may be fresher, but if you complete your graduation this year, 2023, then learning the DevOps is not the best option for you. That is what I'm telling. Okay, if you are new to the DevOps, that's fine. After completion of this course, you will become experienced candidate. So what is software project, guys? Any idea? Can you guys respond? What is software project? Software project. Collection of programs is called as software project. Okay. So in the company, when we are working on the project, development team will be available. Development team will write the code to develop the project. Collection of programs is called as software project. Now the next question, why we need software project? Come on. Why we need software project? What is the purpose of software project? Why these many companies are available? Why they are developing projects? Why they are recruiting the people? What is the purpose of developing the software projects? What is software project? Collection of programs is called as software project. Why we need to develop a software project? Software projects are used to reduce human efforts. To reduce human efforts, we are going to develop software projects. Example, net banking. Example, net banking, ticket booking. Okay, online classes, online training platforms. These all are software projects only. So earlier, if you want to do some course, you need to come to Hyderabad. You need to attend the classroom training. Now you are attending the classes from your home by using Zoom. Zoom is a software project. Earlier, if we want to deposit the money, we should go to the bank. Nowadays, we are using net banking, Phone Pay, Google Pay. Earlier, if you want to book a train ticket, you should go to railway station. Nowadays, IRCTC. If you want to watch a movie, earlier you should take the ticket at the movie theater. Today, Book My Show, Paytm. These all are software projects only. What is software project? Collection of programs is called as software project. Developers will be available for every project to write the programs. Programming will be there. They will write the programs. Collection of those programs is called as one software project. Why we need these software projects? Software projects are used to reduce human efforts. Whatever the work that we do manually, to simplify, to automate that work, companies are developing the projects. Right? Net banking, ticket booking, online training platforms, these all are the examples for the software projects. Okay. Now, coming to software project architecture. Coming to project architecture. If you go for any software project, project will be divided into 3 parts or 3 layers. Project contains 3 layers. If you go for any project, software project contains 3 layers, guys. Software project contains 3 layers. Okay. What are those 3 layers? First one is front end of the project. Second one is called as back end of the project. Third one is called as database. So if you go for any project, 3 layers will be available. So for every project, 3 layers will be available. What are the 3 layers in the project? First one is called as front end. Second one is called as back end. And the third one is called as database. Third one is called as database. So what is the front end? what is backend, what is database. So if you go to any website, okay, now if you see our Ashok IT website, you can see logo, you can see some button, you can see some images, you can see some information. So whatever you are able to see on the website, that is called front end. Front end nothing but user interface. Front end nothing but user interface. This is also called as presentation tier. Presentation layer. Presentation layer. So for every project, front end will be available. We are the end users. We are accessing a project. When we access our project, we can see some buttons, some images, some text, some logos on the website. Whatever you are seeing, this is called as front end of our project. So front end is called as user interface. This is also called as presentation layer. Okay. And when you perform some operation on the front end, when you perform some operation on the front end, it will execute back end. When you perform some operation on the front end, it will execute back end. What is the back end? Back end is called as business layer. Actual programming will be there in the backend. So backend contains business layer. Here, business logic will be available. Business logic will be available in the backend. Now, if you see Ashok IT website, whenever you access Ashok IT website in the browser, you can see front end of our website. Here, there is a login page. When you click on login, it will ask you to enter some username and password. I'm entering my email ID. I'm entering some wrong password. I'm clicking on login. How it is telling that my credentials are invalid? I'm giving some wrong password. Okay. When I click on the login, it is telling invalid credential. That means something is happening in the background, which you cannot see with your eyes. That is called backend of the application. Some code is executing in the background to verify the given email ID and password is correct or not. That is called business logic execution. That business logic will be available in the backend that you cannot see. As a user, you can see only front end of the application. Nothing but you can see only user interface. When you perform some operation on the front end, then it will go to the back end. Back end program will execute. Back end program will check my email ID and password correct or not. If they are correct, if they are correct, I can log in into the system. If I click on login, email ID, password, if I click on login, if they are valid, then I will log in into the website. So some program is executed. For example, when I log out and when I click on login with some invalid password, then it is saying invalid credential. How it is telling that? That's where backend comes into picture. Some business logic is executing in the background. So how this backend is understanding my username and password correct or not? For every application, database will be available to store the data. To store the data. Okay. Now, if you see, some images are coming here. Some images are coming on the website. These images are coming from the database. When I click on that particular image view details, it is showing me what is the course fees, what is the duration of the course, what is the rating, download course content, a PDF file is coming with the course content. Where all this information is available? All this information is available in a database. For every application, database will be available. For the application, front end will be available, back end will be available, database will be available. So that is called project architecture, software project. Software projects nothing but collection of programs is called as project. Software projects are used to reduce human efforts. Whatever the work that we do manually to simplify humans' life, companies are developing the projects. To do the business, to do the smart business, people are developing the software applications. Okay, for the software application, 3 layers will be available. First one is called front end. Second one is called back end. Third one is called database. What is the purpose of database? Database is used to store the data. So whenever you create the account, your account information, your name, your email ID, your password will be stored in the database. Second time, when you want to log in into the application, you will use front end of the application. Front end nothing but user interface, which contains presentation layer. When you perform some operation in the presentation layer, it will go to backend of the application. Backend contains business layer. Business logic will be available in the backend. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Guys, you no need to write these notes. I have already prepared the materials for this, guys. As I told you, you no need to write anything. When the class is going on, you just concentrate on the class. DevOps bootcamp material already I have prepared. DevOps bootcamp material already I have prepared. What are the prerequisites? Who can join for this course? Course content. What is the application architecture? Whatever I have explained now, this is the diagram. So you are an end user. You are going to access the application. You will access front end. You will access the front end of the application as the end user. When you perform the operation, then it will go to backend. In the backend, business logic will be available. The backend of the application will communicate with the database. Database is used for storage purpose. Notes is already available. After this class completed, I will share this material. I will share this material. Everything is already prepared. What we are going to learn, everything is already prepared. The materials are available. Soft copy materials I will share with you. I will share these materials. Are you guys clear with my point? What is project? Project, nothing but collection of programs. What is the purpose of the projects? Projects are used to reduce human efforts. How many layers will be available in the project? 3 layers will be available in the project. Front end, back end, database. Front end means UI, back end means business logic, database means storage. Now here, in order to develop the front end, okay, so here people will use some front end technologies to develop the front end of the project. What are the front end technologies are available? To develop front end of the application, what technologies are available in the market? Okay, so to develop the front end, people will use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. Either these 3 are common. This HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap is common. Then after, they will go for either Angular or React.js. So to develop front end of the application, people will use these front end technologies: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Angular, or React. Tomorrow, when you attend the interview, they will ask, what are the technologies used in your project? You should know front end developed by using which technology, back end developed by using which technology, which database is used in your project. You should know all these things, right? To develop the front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Angular, or React.js will be used. If Angular is available, React is not required. If React is there, Angular is not required. Out of these 2, only one will be used to develop a front end. Then coming to back end. Okay, so here back end technologies. So what are the technologies available to develop back end of the project? To develop back end of the project, we can use Java, we can use .NET, we can use Python, we can use PHP, we can use Node.js, etc. Okay, so these are called as back-end technologies. By using these technologies, by using any one of these technology, back-end of the application can be developed. So these are used to develop a front end of the application. These are used to develop back end of the application. Front end technologies and back end technologies. A project back end may be by using Java, maybe .NET, maybe Python, maybe PHP, maybe Node.js. All right. Are you getting my point? What technology is available to develop front end of the project? What technologies are available to develop back end of the project? Similarly, databases. Okay. What are the databases that are available in the market? Oracle database is available. Some projects will use Oracle database. Some projects will use MySQL database. Some projects will use Postgres database. Postgres. Some projects will use SQL Server. Some projects will use MongoDB. Some projects will use Cassandra. Etc. Like that, there are several databases available in the market. Depends on the project requirement. They will use one or more databases, depends on the requirement. Are you guys clear? Project. What is project? Why we need project? What is the architecture? What is front end? What is back end? What is database? What are the technologies available to develop the front end? What technologies available to develop the back end? And what databases are available in the market? Are you clear with this? Fine, good. So with this, I'm stopping for today. In the next class, we are going to understand software development lifecycle. Okay. In the next class, we are going to discuss about software development lifecycle. Are you clear? What is development lifecycle? What are the roles of developer in the project? What are the roles of DevOps engineer in the project? That we are going to discuss in the next session. Are you clear with this? Fine, guys. Thank you.